holy grail nutrient your brain and your body needs. What is that holy grail nutrient? So we do things a little different here on the Anything is Achievable podcast. And, we're going to give you the main point right away. And then provide the explanation as to how to make sense of that, right? So here's the point of this whole podcast. You don't have to wait till the very end. So what is the holy grail nutrient your brain needs? It is water, right? And everybody knows that, but how much water do you need? There's so many different research that shows you may need this amount, but how much do you actually need, right? So I'm going to give you something that's based off of, and I'll explain where I got this data and where I got this information, but here's our secret. And this is a secret we tell our patients in our clinic, Achieve Integrative Health, in Cedar Park, Texas. So how much water do you need? How much water do you need to drink? It's actually based on your kidney or your urinary system, your kidney system function. What does that mean? You look at your urine color. So at after your lunch, right, between 3 to 4 p.m., your urine should be crystal clear. If it's not crystal clear, you did not drink enough water. So the next day, you need to drink more water. And you need to measure out your water so that you can remember how much water you drank yesterday, right? Will it be different every single day? Possibly, but not by too much. It may be different by 1 or 2 cups, or maybe even half a cup, right? So how do you determine how much water do you need? It's based on your urine color. Even during the morning, you can start looking, right? Because if you've noticed, in the early morning, when you first wake up, your urine is yellow, right? And why is that? Because your body, when you're sleeping, that's when your body is cleaning. Your street sweepers come out, your vacuumers come out, your dusters come out in your body, and they clean all that junk, all that toxins from your cells, and they sweep it to your sewer system, which is called your lymphatic system. Your lymphatic system is a gutter system. So your body scrapes, cleans, brushes, moves all the toxins to your sewer system, which is AKA your lymphatic system. And then your lymphatic system exchanges that, moves the toxins into your blood. And then your blood transports those toxins to your toxin eliminating organs, which are your kidneys, your intestines, even your skin, right? And so that's how we eliminate toxins, through our bowels, urine, and sweat, right? So that's the main point of today's podcast. Before I go on and talk more, I want to give you the background, right? So for those of you who are just tuning in just for the immediate quick solution, quick answer, and straight to the point, that's it. You can tune off right now. But if you want to learn more about how this came about, and just in general, what does it have to do with restorative longevity? Because that's the point of this podcast, is we're talking about restorative longevity. Longevity is not just to live longer, it's to live longer with a better quality of life. Yeah, it doesn't make sense, right? But that's what this podcast is about. As you get older, right? Everybody says as you get older, your quality of life decreases. We're here to say no, it doesn't have to. Does that happen to many people? Absolutely. We're not saying they're wrong, but we're saying you have a choice. You don't have to let it get worse. It can actually improve as you get older, right? And so those are the things. But coming back to, I want to address a couple of things, and I've been, researching, reading, and just really, researching from different points of views. And I like to get the views of physicians who are noticing that, what they're doing, what they're training, what they were trained for does not help restorative longevity. What they were trained for in medical school does not help restorative longevity, right? It may help longevity, but not restorative longevity. And so just a couple of things, right? One of the things that one of the physicians that he mentioned, right, and I just want to say a couple words about that, and they were vital, right? He says, the cancer doesn't care how rich you are. And so when he said that, I was like, yeah, right? In fact, he says cancer, or any chronic, like long undetected, slow growing tumors, right? They don't care if you have money. They don't care if you are successful, if you're on the top of the world. They don't care if even and this is a physician saying this. It says it doesn't even matter who your surgeon is. Cancer does not care who your surgeon is. Think about that. You can have the best surgeon in the world. Cancer doesn't care, right? He talks about, a lot of times when someone has cancer, eventually they develop another cancer, and eventually they die of some other cancer, right? But and the point is, once you start developing cancer, and if you keep on treating it with the current methodologies, like just doing chemotherapy, radiation, and surgery, which I'm not saying these are wrong, but if you just rely upon those things, you eventually will still die of cancer, right? This is what scientists and physicians are saying. So he says, if it wants to find a way to kill you, it will. Ultimately, these slow deaths ended up bothering him even more, right? This is a physician. So he came to the realization that what he's doing, it wasn't really helping, right? And here's one last thing. Cancer also, this is 2024 and we're in election year. Cancer does not care if you are a Republican, Democratic, liberal, whatever party you are. Cancer doesn't care, right? And so there are some people that, when they hear information from someone, let's say a Democrat hears health information from a Republican, and they deny it, reject it, just because they're a Republican, and vice versa. A Republican hears health information from a Democrat, and they immediately reject it. Cancer doesn't care what party you are, right? So health has nothing to do with politics. It has nothing to do really with if you believe what research you believe or not, right? And so he goes on to saying, this physician, he goes on saying his training, right? So he says, one of the main obstacles in anyone's quest for longevity is the fact that the skills that his colleagues, he says, my colleagues and I, so physicians, acquired during our medical training have proved to be far more effective against fast death than slow death, right? So what he was been trained in medical school is to help with fast death, not slow death. Chronic degenerative diseases are what he is talking about, slow deaths, right? He says the problem was that we approached both set of patients. So physicians approach fast death and slow death exactly the same. He says trauma victims and chronic disease sufferers, they approach them the exact same way with the same basic script. Our job was to stop the patient from dying no matter what. And they are great at doing this. Western medicine is phenomenal at stopping you from dying. But as this physician has mentioned, right, they're terrible at helping people, number one, for longevity, extend their life for long terms, not just for a short term, not just for a couple days, couple weeks, or a couple of years, for 10, 20 years. That's their weakness. And definite weakness, this is something that they have not been able to, is to help with restorative longevity, which is different from longevity in itself. Okay, so another thing that modern medicine. So here's the thing. He says modern medicine has thrown an unbelievable amount of effort and resources at each of these diseases, but our progress has been less than stellar. with the possible exception of cardiovascular disease, where we have cut mortality rates by 2/3 in the industrialized world in about 60 years. Death rates, however, death rates from cancer, on the other hand, have hardly budged in the more than 50 years since the war on cancer was declared. Despite hundreds of billions of dollars worth of public and private spending on research, right? The type 2 diabetes remains a raging public health crisis, showing no signs of abating, and Alzheimer's disease and related neurodegenerative diseases stalk our growing elderly population, and virtually no effective treatments on the horizon. What are you saying? This physician is saying billions of dollars have been poured into research, and we're nowhere closer to solving this, right? So this is from a physician. He says, but in every case, we are intervening at the wrong point in time, well after the disease has taken hold, and often when it's already too late. So timing of Western medicine is, what he's saying is the wrong timing, right? And the way they're treating it is also in an incorrect way. And this is from a physician, right? And so for those of y'all who are just jumping in, make sure, this is the channel to give you the truth. It's not to tell you what is right or wrong. That's for you to decide, but it's just to give you more information about what you can do to help your own health and what you can do for your family's health. Make sure you hit the subscribe button, okay? It's a little bell. Hit the subscribe to continue on these conversations. These are honest conversations, transparent conversations. Transparency is one of our core values, and so that's why we want to give you. And we're going to give you both sides. Just because we are for natural holistic medicine does not mean we do not like and love Western medicine. I love Western medicine. Part of my initial training was in biochemistry, a little Western medicine. And my older sister and brother-in-law are physicians. Some of my best friends are physicians. I love physicians. This is not about, saying, who's right or wrong. This is about, hey, how do we get to the answer for you? Not based on what research says, but based on what's actually going to work for you, okay? And the last point from this physician that I want to mention is, he says, we want to delay or prevent these conditions so that we can live longer without disease rather than lingering with disease. So what he's saying is Western medicine helps us sustain us. It helps us live with disease. That's not restorative longevity, because as long as you have disease means your body is breaking down. Your body is killing itself, right? Or something is killing your body. So it's like, how can I live with drinking gasoline is what it is. I'm going to give you all of these medications. I know you're going to drink gasoline, and gasoline is going to start killing your cells, but I'm going to give you these medications to help you be able to drink gasoline and live off of gasoline, right? And this is from physicians that are saying this, and so it's interesting. So coming back to, why did I introduce all that? Because if you are relying upon just information in general, not time-tested information, not people-tested information, you may not get the result that you want. And so that's what we are. The research that I love research. Again, see, I'm a biochemist, trained biochemist, all about research. We did research, right? And so I know how to do research, and I know what is done during research. And again, I know that if I purposely or unintentionally change a step in my research protocols, that the result will change. So which means I could manipulate. I could intentionally or inadvertently manipulate the data, the results of the research. So I like research that's based off of people and time tested. Has it been around for at least 1,000 years, right? Many of these research that we're reading right now has only been around maybe for 100 years, and it constantly changes. So that in itself should tell you the validity of that specific research. If it cannot withstand the test of time, And let me give you a situation back in, I don't know if it was in the 60s or 50s, but those of y'all, the baby boomers, y'all remember this. Back when the Surgeon General used research to say smoking was safe. Smoking was safe for the body. Do y'all remember that? That was research. Research proved that smoking was safe, that it didn't harm the body, right? But now look, 100 years later, the research is completely false, right? So research that has not withstood 1,000 years, personally, I'm not telling what you to do, tell you what to do. Personally, I would look at it with a discerning eye, with a skeptical eye. Okay, so now water. Water's super important. We all know water's super important, right? And in the beginning, I already told you how to gauge how much water you need to drink, right? It's based on your urine color. I'll just summarize again. It's based on your urine color. In the morning, it's going to be yellow, and if you take supplements, it's going to make, especially vitamin B's, it's going to make it bright yellow. But even when you take supplements and vitamins in the morning, by 3 to 4 p.m., your urine should be crystal clear. If it is not crystal clear, you still have toxins. You still have not flushed out all your toxins, right? That's why it's also very important, the timing of when you drink your water. First thing when you wake up in the morning, you need to drink a glass of room temperature or better, warm water. Warmth invigorates, cold stagnates, okay? So if you're tuning in, make sure you hit the subscribe button. We go live on this podcast every Sunday, 8:30 Central Standard Time. If you're live with me, I welcome you to join the chat and ask questions. Okay, so coming back, we all probably know this. Our bodies are made of water. The percentage of what percent is, that fluctuates a little, but around 60%, right? And so this neuroscientist says our bodies are made a fair amount of water, 60%, followed by 20% of proteins, 15% of fats, 2% of carbohydrates, and some vitamins and minerals. What about the brain? This was shocking, right? The brain is made up of 80% water. 80%, your brain is 80% water, right? Then it's followed by 11% of fats, and then proteins 8%, and vitamins and minerals 3%, and a pinch of carbs. So that's why eating fat is so important, right? Because that's the second most important nutrient in your brain, right? So we know water is vitally important to our lives, right? It is involved in, here's the thing you may not know, it is involved in every chemical process in your brain. If you don't have water, your brain ain't functioning, right? And not just, so that's why they say, water is undeniably vital to human life. As it turns out, it's also vital to our intelligence. It is vital to our intelligence. 80% of our brain is water. If you don't have enough water, you get stupid, okay? So when you're in a meeting and someone's is not so bright or getting off point, tell them to drink some water, okay? It'll give them some new ideas, make them a little smarter, or maybe you feel a little, slow in the brain. Then drink some water, flush out some of those toxins. You're probably accumulating poop in your brain. That's why, the stuff that's coming out of your mouth may be similar to poop, right? So drink some water to flush it out. Now, water, okay, in the brain, okay, again, water in the brain, the cells require a delicate balance in your brain. The brain cells require a delicate balance between water and other elements such as minerals and salts. These are like electrolytes, right? Like chloride, fluoride, magnesium, sodium, potassium, right? They flow in and flow out of your brain every sip of water. Water is indispensable for energy production. If you're not drinking water, you're not going to have energy. So maybe you get the afternoon slump. Maybe you're trying to lose some weight, but you get the afternoon slump, right? After your meal slump. After your meals, you feel tired. Well, drink more water, right? Why? Because it carries oxygen. Oxygen is what gives you energy. And water carries oxygen, right? Which is needed for your working cells to breathe and burn sugar to produce energy. You want to burn sugar burn fat, you need more oxygen, you need more water, right? Water also plays a structural role in your brain. It fills the space between your brain cells, helps to form proteins, absorb nutrients, and more important, eliminate waste from your brain. Do you know when your brain eliminates waste? The most critical time it does to eliminate waste. It is actually doing when you are resting and sleeping. Your brain actually has its own gutter system. The body has a gutter system a sewer system called the lymphatic system, but the brain actually has its own sewer system. Separate. It's connected, but also separate. It's called the glymphatic system, and it's its own cleaning company that only activates when you are sleeping and good quality sleep. If you don't have good quality sleep, your cleaning company and your brain, it don't come out and play. It don't come out and do its job. That's why you wake up the next morning and feel foggy brained, right? So, crucial. Here's another stat to tell you. I see a lot of people they just don't want to drink water because they're in meetings all day and they don't want to have to go to the restroom all day. Well, if you do that, you are getting dumber and dumber with each meeting, right? Because they found out that this neuroscientist found out that 3 to 4% decrease in water intake, just 3 to 4% decrease in water intake. You drink 3 to 4% less of water. What's going to happen? It immediately affects your brain's fluid balance, causing a number of issues like fatigue, brain fog, reduced energy, headaches, and mood swings. So not only does it make you dumber, it makes you when people get drunk, they call it, mad drunk, right? So you actually get dumber and mad at the same time just because you didn't drink water, okay? And that's just decreasing 3 to 4%. And some people don't understand what is 3 to 4% mean? How do you measure that, right? Well, if you measure your drinking water every single day, right, which most people don't do, but if you do, which is a great habit to do, I don't do it. Because I just use the formula that I mentioned early on in this podcast by your urine color. But let's say you measure the amount of fluid you drink. 3 to 4% is pretty much like you drink 8 glasses of water and you exercise. You do moderate exercise, but you still drink 8 glasses of water, right? If you do that, you have decreased your body fluid by 3 to 4%, and you have just make yourself dumber. Okay? All right. Dehydration. So, with all joking aside, intelligence, yes, we all want to have more intelligence, but in reality, it does make you dumber. Why? Because I also found that dehydration, according, neuroscientists have done an MRI of the brain, and they found that when you are dehydrated, your brain actually shrinks. And that's what happens with aging and dementia. So if you want to get dementia and you want to age faster, your brain to get older faster, then keep dehydrating yourself. But if, they say the fountain of youth actually is available to most people in developed worlds. It's water. Drink more water, right? And the MRI also shows that when you're dehydrated, several parts of your brain get thinner and lose volume. So these are physical changes. These are physical changes that happen when you just don't drink water, right? And, on the flip side, when you don't drink water, that's what happens. Your brain shrinks, you get dumber, you get slower, you get older faster, right? This is the complete opposite of restorative longevity. The second thing is, what happens if you do drink 3 to 4% more? Well, research shows that you drink 8 to 10 cups of water per day increases your brain performance by almost 30%, right? Now, those numbers really don't mean much to me, but what it means to me is when you drink water, your brain performance improves. Your brain, you get smarter, right? That's what matters to me. Right. So some of the things that people say are, you drink 8 glasses of 8 ounce of water per day. So that's 64 ounces of water per day. We're close to 2 liters, 2 quarts. Right. And then people have formulas of how to drink based on your body weight, your height, your sex, and so forth. Right. For me, again, I use my formula that has been tested for 3,000 years. This is a 3,000-year-old formula, right? I'm not saying these other formulas are not correct. I'm just saying that this is what I do, and this is what I recommend my patients do. And it's also the more customized way. Let me bring my mic closer to me. It's the more customized way because 8 to 10 ounces, 8 to 10 glasses a day. What if your kidney function, what if you have type 1 kidney failure and you have, you're comparing to your friend who's the same sex, similar height, similar weight, right? And you have stage 1 kidney failure, like stage 1 kidney disease. Your friend has full functioning kidneys, right? If both of y'all drink the same amount of water, it will help her more than it will help you. It will help you very little. It will still help you, but it will help you very little, right? And so why? Because when your kidneys aren't functioning correctly, your kidneys are your main, is what I call your water organ. You're not going to be able to metabolize water effectively if your kidneys are malfunctioning. You need more water when your kidneys are malfunctioning, not less, right? And so that's why I like to use the formula of urine color. Now, again, assuming you're not taking the B vitamins, look at your urine color. It needs to be crystal clear by 3 to 4 p.m. latest, preferably by noon, right? Because you don't want to drink too much water after 5 p.m. after your dinner, because otherwise you'll be up at night peeing all day, and that will affect your sleep, which will also make you dumber too, okay? Because remember that if you don't have good quality sleep, then your cleaning company, your brain's cleaning company doesn't come out and do its job, and therefore you retain more waste, right? So it's not just water. It's all interconnected, right? Sleep, water, it's all interconnected. Hey, Rianne, it's good to see you this morning. Rianne says, I grew up without drinking 8 cups every day. The history confuses me with this important information. The baby boomers I knew all grew up the same way. Oh, wow. Well, baby boomers generation is a little different. Every generation is different, right? And this is, of course, a generalization. I'm not saying this is complete true for everybody, but baby boomers were a generation of really hard workers, and y'all worked really, really hard and focused on a great work ethic. I would say we all have one of the best work ethic of all generations. And so you're so busy working that you sacrifice your health in this sense. Some of y'all do by not drinking water, right? But today, even like Generation X, like I'm Generation X, and we in the 10 time, because we also have a great work ethic, and sometimes we seek success over health, and therefore we have tons of meetings and we don't want to miss the meeting, or we think it's inconvenient, or maybe it's not professional or whatever, right? But the problem is we're damaging our health. I recommend this. So if you're drinking, based on my formula of drinking, how much water you need is based on your urine color, this is what's going to happen. You're going to be urinating at least once an hour. You want to be urinating once an hour. Because let me ask you this. Every day we put in toxins through our mouth. We breathe in toxins. If you're in any country, any developed, unless you're out in the woods, right, you have fresh air. But in any city, you're breathing in toxins. If you have cars around you have machines around you, you're breathing in toxins, okay? And so we have all these toxins coming in every second because you can't not breathe, right? And whatever lotion you put on, all right? Our food is so contaminated, especially here in the U.S. In Europe and Asia, and all around the world, y'all have better quality food than we do here in the U.S. But we breathe in all these toxins. My question is this: how long do you want those toxins to sit in your body? Do you want them to sit for an hour, 2 hours, half a day? Just because you have an important meeting, you're going to sacrifice your health, right? I know, because I've done this before. So I'm speaking to me. I'm not saying that what you're doing is wrong for your life. I'm just speaking about myself. So what I've done, is sacrifice my health in the very early beginning until I especially as a biochemist, when I hadn't studied Chinese medicine yet and became a Chinese medicine practitioner, I was doing all the same things that I'm telling you not to do right now. But obviously I've changed that, knowing the truth, right? So how long do you want to keep your toxins? I personally would like the toxins to come in my body and immediately come out of my body. Well, that's hard to do because the body has to process those toxins. It has to go through the organs, the bloodstreams, and all these things, right? So why not eliminate your toxins at least once an hour, right? Now, if you're going to the restroom every 10 minutes, that could be a sign you have a kidney or urinary system problem, right? Or a lung problem, right? So that's a whole different story. But I'm just talking about average people, most people. Why would you want to keep your toxins for a few hours in your body? Because if you keep the toxins in your body, not all of it gets to your intestines, not all of it gets to your kidneys. Some of it seeps into your cells. And for those of y'all who have gained weight over, COVID or these past years or any years, right? That's toxins seeping into your cells. Your fat cells are getting larger and larger because toxins are going into your fat cells, making it larger and larger. And some of that's why some people, when they make this one change just by drinking water, they can not immediately, but they can very soon, maybe in a couple of weeks, start losing weight without even changing anything else. And that's just by drinking water. Because why? Because they're helping the body flush the toxins from the fat cells. It's like they're getting the body to squeeze that toxins out of the fat cells and then use the water to flush it out. So again, why would you want to retain your toxins for a few hours? That's the purpose of why I say, hey, go to the restroom at least once an hour. Now, do that because you're drinking water, okay? Drinking water, and that will automatically force you to get up. And especially, post-COVID, a lot of us have desk jobs. We tend to sit at our desk for 8 hours straight. We forget to eat, drink, get to the restroom, right? And because we were always on these Zoom meetings, maybe, right? And so this is one thing that my wife, who used to be a CPA, she would stay in her seat for 10, 12 hours. Right? So one strategy that I told her was, hey, put a glass, like I have a jug. See, I have a jug of water. This is half a gallon, right? Of water that I drink. I drink a gallon, typically drink about half a gallon to a gallon every day. And I told her to keep that by her side and just drink. I don't care if she's thirsty or not, just drink. Why? Because I want her to get her butt off her chair so she can walk, because sitting is the worst position for your whole spine. You want back pain? Sit in a chair for 8 hours every day. I guarantee you 100% you will get back pain. Okay? So I told her, drink enough, just drink. I want you to drink and force yourself to get up at least once an hour, maybe 30 minutes. Just that fact of getting up helps the body. Movement helps move the water also, right? And therefore, I just had her drink. So I recommend that with you too. Rianne said, even as children, we drink at meals, maybe a glass or two otherwise. How are we still alive and some of us healthy? Under God's grace, that God helped you stay alive. That's the only answer I have. Yes, we've done a lot of stupid things, including myself. And every day I wonder, how are we still alive? Right? I used to ride a motorcycle and I would only wear a helmet, and I would be in short sleeve and maybe shorts, and I was riding fast on the motorcycle. I thought it was cool, and I was so reckless and stupid. How did I survive that? Yes, God's grace, God's protection. That's how I survived, because I was really stupid. But yes, let's go back to water. So I'm spending so much time on just this one topic to really understand. You have to be intentional. Everywhere I go, I don't bring this big jug. I bring a smaller cup to always carry water with me. Why? Think about it. Number one, obviously, I don't want to get dumber, okay? That's a big part of why I bring water, because I want to stay smart wherever I go. And so I bring water with me everywhere I go, right? Everywhere I go, I bring water, and I'm drinking. I'm urinating everywhere. trying to urinate at least once an hour, right? Not when I'm sleeping, obviously. I know some people are like, what about when I'm sleeping? Am I going to still urinate? No. So after 5 p.m., cut it down. But I bring water everywhere I go. Number one, it's because I don't want to get dumb. I don't want to get dumber. I don't want to get dumber faster. I don't want to age. I don't want my brain to age faster. Right? Number two, right? I don't want to retain toxins. I don't want to keep the poop in my body for too long. I want toxins to get eliminated from my body immediately, ASAP, as soon as possible, body. Let's get in the gear, body, right? So, but I need to help it. If I don't help it, how is it going to eliminate the toxins? Gotta drink water, right? So, yes, is it inconvenient? Yes. Do you want inconvenience? Or, hey, do you want to be smarter? Do you want to be healthier? Do you want to have restorative longevity? Those are the choices, right? So yes, do you have to, when you go travel, do you have to look for pit stops or restroom breaks? Absolutely, right? But guess what? When you're traveling, you're sitting and you need to get up. So giving bathroom breaks is easy. I mean, it's helpful, right? Movement, water, movement, connect water and movement. So these are the things that I've done. My business partner, Chris McKee, who I'm going to have on this podcast soon, she's over 70. She just went on a camping trip, like tent and all, not glamping, like tent and all. And she went camping by herself. I want her to share her journey. She's over 70, right? I guarantee you she agrees with what I'm saying about water. My dad is 83 years old. He has to walk up and down a mountain just to get to his home every single day, multiple times, right? He goes down the mountain to the park to teach. He's 83. He goes down the park and teaches Monday through Friday Tai Chi to people younger than him in their 60s and 70s, right? So he drinks water all the time, right? So again, these are the importance of drinking water. Hope you enjoyed this. We're going to continue because the next question is what type of water, right? I'll do another podcast. But thank you, Rianne, Valerie, for joining me Sunday morning. I'm making this consistent. Sunday morning, 8:30 Central Standard Time. After I'm done, then I head off to church, right? We have 2 services, and I used to go to the first one, but in order to get this information out to help more people, I think praying to God, and God asked me to really dispense the truth. Not saying what's right or wrong, but just giving you the truth, and you can take it from there. You can pray about it and see if what I'm saying is true or not, and implement it. More importantly, implement it for at least a month, and then, shoot me an email, let me know how it's working for you. All right, guys, until the next week, we'll continue on this conversation of restorative longevity. See ya.